So it'll be interesting to see if we can spot any impact that all that has.
Barry Hawkins 1.
They've met 5 times before in the Championship League. Davis has only won 1 of them. And in other tournaments, they've had 9 meetings, with 6 wins for Hawkins and 3 for Davis. They haven't played each other this season. They did meet last season in the China Championship, with Davis winning.
Davis 1.
Hawkins must be getting some good memories this morning, because both of the players he's played were opponents he beat on his way to winning his first ranking title at the Australian Open in 2012. In fact, he beat Davis in the semi-final of that, pulling away from 4-all, winning the next 2 frames for a 6-4 victory. Then went on the next day to comfortably beat Peter Ebden, the former world champion, in the final.
Eight. Eleven. Twelve.
Hawkins has certainly turned around his campaign in this group. He lost his first match 3-1 to Stephen Maguire, but it's now 3 wins in a row since then.
19.
He's beaten David Gilbert, Ali Carter, and then just a little earlier Zhao Guodong, each of them by 3 frames to 1. And just to emphasise how tight this group is, I've told you there are 4 players who've all got 3 wins from 4 matches.
25.
Well, 3 of those players are also level on frames 1, and the other one, Maguire, is only 1 behind in that department.
26.
That's what it comes down to. If you're level on matches 1, it goes to frames 1. And then if you're level on that, it's whoever's lost
32.
the least number of frames. And if you're still tied, it comes down to the head-to-head during the round-robin section of the group.
33. $39. 40.
Hawkins showing all his quality here, sustaining this break. Blue and pink.
46.
Sorry, blue and black. Both tied up.
$47.
And he's not far away from sustaining it for long enough to actually clinch the frame. And no sooner have I said that, and he breaks down on 47. Well, that wasn't a bad effort, to be fair. And in any case, Hawkins is going to be straight back in.
One.
Well, we say it so often, don't we? It's so hard to control what the cue ball is going to do when you're playing a shot like that from distance with the object ball just over the pocket. But it's another 8 points taken off the table effectively. So Hawkins 48 in front, 59 left. Gradually closing in on taking this opening frame. Probably would have been frame over if that had gone in.
One.
So 49 in front. Just needs a colour to leave Davis needing a snooker. Pink the obvious choice. This is a bit of a tester.
Barry Hawkins 1.
And still Davis has a chance. 49 behind, still 51 left. Can't get to the red over the pocket, but he's got another one to the opposite corner. And that should finally be that.
1.
In behind the yellow here.
Barry Hawkins 1 on the frame.
And Mark Davis decides not to battle on, so Barry Hawkins had a break of 47. Had to battle a bit to get over the line, but he did in the end, and he leads Mark Davis by 1 frame to 0 as he went down to his first defeat in this group. So Mark Davis 1-0 down here, didn't really get into that first frame. Let's see how he fares in the second. Once we're finished up here tonight, thoughts will turn to the German Masters in Berlin next week. Field of 32, produced by 2 qualifying rounds, played just before Christmas. Barry Hawkins got through. He'll play Robert Milkins in his first match at the Tempodrome. Mark Davis won't be going. He was beaten 5-4 by Rory McLeod in the first of those qualifying rounds. Good news from the other table is that the delay has now been sorted out, or the technical issues which caused the delay have been sorted out, so Ali Carter and Dave Gilbert are now underway. As I was saying, Carter and Zhao Guodong both now out of the running to make the semi-finals after both losing their first 4 matches. Well, if Gilbert wins that match, then Carter and Zhao will both be out of contention even to get 5th place and earn a spot in Group 7. Well, they're both having to work hard to get in here, but with the black available into both corners and the red sitting very nicely indeed, it's one of those situations where whoever does get the first chance, it's likely to be an extremely good one. Well, is the 3-ball plant on? It did look from the angle behind the pocket as though it might be, but a lot of distance between each of the balls. You don't see many frames in top-level snooker nowadays where it takes this long for the first ball to be potted in a frame. Not sure exactly how long we've been going, but must be the best part of 10 minutes now. Davis' attempt to break the deadlock goes wide.
One.
from that miss, Hawkins was left a long red, in which he's finished pretty well on the black. Not ideal. Doesn't help that he's quite close to the black.
Barry Hawkins 1.
Hawkins returning to his chair with a somewhat puzzled look. He's left this red to middle, I think.
One.
That's well judged, and having not really got into the first frame, Davis now has a decent chance.
8.
After a fairly lengthy tactical exchange at the start of the second.
Nine. $14. $15. Mark Davis 15.
Just struggling to get into his rhythm in today's play. As I was saying earlier, Hawkins with the advantage of having already played a match and played quite well in it on this table this morning. Davis coming in cold, having not played since last night. And some signs that that's maybe having an impact.
1. Six. Seven. $14. 15. $22. 23. $30. $31.
It really is good to see Barry Hawkins playing well again. Hasn't won a tournament this season. Came very close in Shanghai. Lost 11-9 to Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final. Got to the semi-finals in Yushan, the quarters in Guangzhou. And all of that off the back of a really good second half of last season. And the first half of last season was
36.
pretty wretched for him.
Barry Hawkins, 36.
Isn't it amazing how often when you big up the way your player is playing, he then goes and misses a shot? And that wasn't simple, you wouldn't say, but I think you still would have expected him to get it. And the same goes for that. And after playing so well for so much of yesterday, it's all been a bit of a struggle for Davis in the early stages of day 2 in this group. Dave Gilbert has won the first frame against Ali Carter on the other table. Mark Davis is one of only 2 players to have beaten Ronnie O'Sullivan this season. Judd Trump has beaten him in the finals of the Northern Ireland Open, and just last weekend the Masters at Alexandra Palace. Davis beat O'Sullivan 6-1 in the semi-final of the English Open back in October.
One. Harry Hawkins 1.
Well, he's not played that well at all. Having said that, the red that's been left on for Davis to the yellow pocket isn't one you'd have the greatest of confidence in him getting, the way he's struggled so far in this match. So much so that he didn't even attempt it. That win over O'Sullivan at the English Open gave Davis the chance to finally win his first ranking title after best part of 30 years on the circuit. It would have been a hugely popular win, but he was beaten 9-7 by Stuart Bingham. And he looked to be taking control of the final, and then, as you may remember, just feathered the white ball, called the foul on himself. Who knows what would have happened without that incident. Still may not have won, but he would have had a much better chance. Took the whole thing in remarkably good humour. I've seen so many players who've been on the circuit since the 90s, breaking through over the last couple of years to win their first ranking title. Mark King, Anthony Hamilton, Ryan Day. Would have been great to see Davis join that list. Such a popular figure within the game. Although he hasn't won a ranking title, Davis is someone who's specialised over the years in winning minor titles. He's won a few six Reds events. He won a small tournament in Malta back in the 90s. He won the Benson and Hedges Championship, which was a qualifying event for the Masters. Of course, 3 years ago, he won the World Seniors Championship. He also achieved quite a distinction in this event 2 years ago, becoming the first player to make two maximums in the same event. He'd never even made one in his whole career up until then. And of course he became the oldest player ever to make a maximum, at the age of 44. We'll see if we can get a look at the clock on the scoreboard at some point. Not sure exactly how long this frame has been going on, but it's been a real epic. There you see, almost 27 minutes. And it could still be some way from a resolution. Although maybe not now.
One.
Well, Jack Lazowski won one of the earlier groups. The playing time for the whole match in the final was 27 minutes. I know Ronnie O'Sullivan in the past has won matches in less than that. I seem to remember one of the years he played in it, he won a match in 19 minutes.
Six. 11.
So 35 in front. Black will take that to 42, which would leave him needing one more red. And he's left himself a fairly simple one.
19. 20.
'That should copper fasten it.
27. 28. 33.
Not a frame that's likely to live long in anyone's memory. Very scrappy for most of the way, but in the end, it's taken Barry Hawkins to within a frame of his 4th win in a row. He leads Mark Davis by 2 frames to 0. After a deeply forgettable second frame, Barry Hawkins starts us off, looking for one more to clinch his victory. That was just a very brief glimpse of the other table there, where Dave Gilbert is in play, trying to turn it around in the second frame against Carter. So far, today has been a real contrast to yesterday for Davis. Started off with a 68 break against Ali Carter, went on to win 3-0. Then he beat Martin Gould 3-1. Highest break in that was 61. And he was 2-0 down and largely frozen out for the first couple of frames against Zhao Guodong. He only potted one ball in those two frames, but turned it round, made a 67, won the fourth frame on the black. And then from his first chance in the decider, made 66 to win that match as well. But of course, earlier in the Championship League this season, we saw Mark King also win his first 3 matches. He was top of the table after the first day of the group. Lost all 3 the next day. Not only did he not make the semi-finals, he didn't even get 5th place to go through to the next group. And with the matches just coming along so relentlessly, thick and fast, momentum can be a big factor. We've seen it so many times over the years in both directions. We've seen players get on a roll, just playing well match after match, racking up the wins. But we've also seen players who struggle, they lose a match, then they lose another one, and they don't have time to shake themselves out of the rut.
One. Hawkins 1.
But this is a decent chance for Davis, and you sort of feel he's got to make something from it if he's going to have any chance of turning this match around.
One.
Hasn't got any rhythm going at all so far.
Eight. Nine.
And earlier this morning, Hawkins was also 2-0 up against Zhao Guodong, who really looked to be struggling, but he turned around a bit, somehow managed to win the third frame, and was in contention to take it to a decider. It just underlines how in a best of 5 there's always hope. You're never so far behind that it's a hopeless cause.
16.
Very nice recovery shot. Dave Gilbert was a long way behind in the second frame against Ali Carter, but he's won it, so he's now leading 2-0.
22.
And remember, if Gilbert wins that match, then that means that Carter and Zhao Guodong, neither of whom can get through to the group semi-finals already, Well, they would then both be eliminated altogether because they would be certain to finish as the bottom two.
23.
Didn't get through the pack the way he was hoping to there. But he can cash in the insurance policy of the yellow over the corner pocket. Tried to go into the reds there with real force, a lot of pace. But just sort of slid off them. Still has a chance at this red to the left corner though. So one way or another, he's managing to stay at the table.
Twenty-six.
But just when he looked as though he might be getting back into prime position, I don't think he's on this red to left corner. It looked as though the hardest battles of that break may already have been fought and won.
Mark Davis, 33. One.
But an unexpectedly swift reprieve for Davis. And a chance to get back to building on that lead.
Eight. Nine. $14. 15. $22. $23.
So the black is to lead by 62. So just one more red needed after that. And he's got a choice of them here, so it looks as though Davis is going to get off the mark.
$31.
And this is much better. Just ran out of position on his earlier visit. Wasn't as if he missed an easy ball. And when he got the chance to pick up where he'd left off, he's taken it well.
36. $37. $44. 45. $51. $52.
Mark Davis sure to be feeling much better now with that break of 52. He's comfortably clinched the third frame, and he's still in it at 2-1 down. And that, it's also 2-1 here. Mark Davis has made the first half century of the match, and he's going to start us off again in the fourth frame.
One.
Missed one like that at the start of the previous frame, but that's nicely judged. And straight away,
3.
Really good chance for Hawkins.
Four. $11. Barry Hawkins, 11.
And he's made almost nothing from it. That just underlines again that Hawkins in both of his matches today, although he's played well at times, he's not exactly been relentless. He's Form has gone walkabout on a few occasions.
One.
Mark Davis has already come from 2-0 down to win a match 3-2 in this group. Surely now starting to sense that he's got every chance to do it again.
8. Nine.
That's a bad misjudgment though, way short.
16.
Good recovery though.
17.
As you can see, didn't have much room at all to slide that red past the pack. Got to say, he's had very little luck going into the reds throughout this match. No matter how well you're playing, you always need a bit of that.
Mark Davis, 22. One. Mark Davis, 1.
One thing we haven't had a lot of in this group is centuries. We had 19 in the last group, only 3 so far in this one. But Ali Carter has just made that 4 to win the third frame against Dave Gilbert. He now trails 2-1 as he continues the search for his first win in Group 6. It's very tight as to whether this red actually goes to the right corner, but the way he's lining up to it suggests it is potable.
One.
The century that Ali Carter made actually in the third frame against Dave Gilbert was a 1-4-1, so that simple black that Martin Gould missed yesterday, which would have given him a 1-4-2 in his first frame of the tournament against Zhao Guodong, could well end up costing him £500 now. Gould's 1-3-5 was the front runner for the high break bonus in this group, but that 1-4-1 obviously overtakes it. So although it's not been a great couple of days for Carter, that will certainly improve what he takes home in prize money. As I said, still a chance Carter can get fifth in the group, which would earn him one last shot in Group 7. Zhao Guodong is now definitely out because the best he can get to is 2 wins with 9 frames won. Already 4 players on 3 wins. You've got Dave Gilbert. He's already got 2 wins on the board, and he's won a total of 11 frames now. So Zhao already knew he wasn't going through to the semis. He won't be going through to Group 7 either.
$14. 20. 21.
Well, it's been a good battling effort by Davis. He was 2-0 down.
28.
Things weren't going his way at all. Wasn't getting much running. And he's hung in impressively. And it's just a few balls away now from taking us to a decider.
Mark Davis, 28.
How often do we say it? Those shots at pace, you can always miss them. And this is actually a pretty good chance for Hawkins as he comes to the table 40 points in arrears.
One.
Not a safe ball on the table.
Eight. 9. 15. $16.
So Hawkins now a clear favourite for this frame. If he does close it out, that's 4 wins in a row. Lost his first match to Stephen Maguire, but he's since beaten
24.
Dave Gilbert, Ali Carter, Zhao Guodong, all by 3 frames to 1. Could be the same score here. And ordinarily, when a player gets his 4th win, we say that's him into the semi-finals, but of course it might not be because of the way the group has panned out.
$29.
Still got some work to do here, of course, but it would be a big surprise if he didn't finish it off at this visit.
30.
And really, this has been like most of his other matches. He's played pretty well at times, just lost his way here and there. But in the round robin section, it's just all about making sure you're there at the business end of the group.
34. $36. $39.
Well, as I said, all credit to Davis. He hung in there when he was really struggling earlier in the match. But in the end, it's a second straight defeat for him.
43.
He'll be back on later against Stephen Maguire in his last match of the round robin section. Hawkins has one more match to play against Martin Gould, who was in fantastic
48.
form earlier. This for the match then. And for the 5th time in 6 Championship League meetings,
54.
Barry Hawkins
Frame and
beats
match,
Mark
Barry.
Davis. This time it's by 3 frames to 1.